guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing a foundation routine. So I have loved doing foundation reviews and I have a couple more planned coming up, but I thought that today I would just kind of give you a rundown of how I've been doing my whole kind of base of my face, which involves foundation, concealer, contouring, powders, all of that jazz. And yeah, I think that this is like the most interesting part of makeup application because eyeshadow is just like the same thing every time. But so I wanted to share this with you guys, especially because I haven't done this in a long time. And yeah, that is it. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. I want to try and get this video to 40 thumbs up if that is possible. If you guys are one of the first 40 people, go and like the video. Please, 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 please. That would make my day so much. Just realized I forgot to put on a lip color when I did the rest of my makeup, but that's okay. I'm sure you guys don't care that much. So let's get into the video. As with all makeup and foundation videos, the first thing I'm going to do is clip my hair back because I hate getting foundation in my hair. And I'm going to start with my Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing Primer. And this is like the only foundation primer that I've ever really used religiously. So I take that as a sign that I really like it, although I don't necessarily feel like I have huge pores. And for today's foundation routine, I am using a tinted moisturizer. This is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Oil-Free version in the shade Blush. Now, I switch out my foundations on a daily basis, so this is really just what I felt like using today. A lot of times recently I've been going for my Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua or my Rimmel Wake Me Up foundation. I just really go with whatever I feel like is going to match my skin for the day. Or if I don't want a ton of makeup on, then I go with the tinted moisturizer. But the steps that I'm going to do after applying my foundation are going to be the same no matter what kind of foundation or what foundation I am wearing that day. So I'm applying a little bit of this onto my Real Techniques brush. And this is the buffing brush, the one that I almost always use. And I'm just gonna apply this all over my face to begin with, so that way I know that I have product everywhere. And this product, I probably took way too much of it, but I'm still kind of in a foundation mode because I've been wearing foundation recently a lot. And I'm just kind of working this in. This product is probably something that you would want to use your fingers with, but personally I'm not a fingers as makeup applicator person. I just don't like having my fingers, not necessarily touching my face, but I don't like having things on my hands. Like, I'm someone that's constantly washing my hands because I always feel like they feel dirty. They just like have this feeling to them that feels dirty. Like, I like the feeling of clean, moisturized hands. So now that my base is done, I'm going to go on to concealer. So the concealer that I've been using nonstop for about the last half year, I want to say, is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I am in shade 10 Light, and I apply this underneath my eye like this. So I apply it in like a streak right underneath it, and then I kind of taper it down to a triangle kind of shape, and then I just dot it back. I'm going to do it on the other side, and that's just because I have dark circles, but I also like to kind of highlight with it. If I have, for some reason, like I get breakouts above my eyebrow, so I kind of just trickle there. I put a little bit in the center of my face because, again, I do use this concealer also as a highlighter, and a little bit on my chin. And that's how I conceal. To blend out my concealer, I religiously use my beauty blender. I use the black one because it's supposed to be stain resistant, so it stays looking newer for longer. And I just kind of pounce it on my skin. And I typically like to use the pointed side when I'm going underneath my eye. And I kind of go flat too with it. Like, I don't poke it in, I poke it flat. Or pounce it flat, sorry. And I'm just gonna blend everything out. I really only like using my beauty blender when I'm doing concealer. I don't tend to use it for foundation because I do notice that it does absorb a little bit of product even though it's not supposed to. But I just like it for concealer because I think that it blends it out really seamlessly, especially when I'm using different kind of colored concealers, do you know what I mean? Like, when it doesn't perfectly match my skin tone, it's really important that it's blending in with the color of whatever foundation or base you're using. And I did, if you notice, bring a little bit of concealer from my forehead down the bridge of my nose. I do typically apply a little bit of concealer there, but I forgot today, and I don't feel like going back and reapplying. And then I'm just gonna blend out my neck a little bit. The last cream product that I'm going to use, because I'm one of those people that does all my cream and then all my powder. So I'm going to go in with my Chanel bronzing makeup base. It's also called Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel. So for this, I take a little pointed concealer brush. This is called the Shade and Conceal by Royal & Langnickel. I don't really know. You can use any kind of concealer brush. And I just kind of swipe the top in there, and then I use this to just kind of add some dimension to my face. I carve out my cheekbones, and I use like just the tip of it. I will contour my nose a little bit. And this may not be a shade that everyone wants to use, because this is a little bit, like, obviously bronzy, and I know that a lot of people like using gray tones, and you should use gray tones, but especially right now I have a little bit of a tan, so it doesn't make me look like an Oompa Loompa. And it does really work, I think. So again, I do it on my cheekbones, a little bit on my nose. I just put a little bit on my temples. I don't heavily shade my forehead. I'm pretty happy with my forehead, to be honest. And then I just kind of do the jawline a little bit. Blend out this craziness. I do go back to the Beauty Blender. And again, it's because I just feel like the Beauty Blender blends together shades really well. That's really it. And I'll probably just use the same side that the concealer was on. Just, again, it gives it a little more blending with color, so that way this bronzer doesn't look too completely different from the rest of my skin. Obviously you want it to look somewhat different, otherwise you wouldn't contour, but it just diffuses it a little bit. Especially right now, I'm not going for like a full coverage, reshape my entire face look. I just want to add dimension to it, because foundation has a tendency to just take the life out of your face. It makes it really flat. Now that that is all blended, I am going to set everything. So I use two different powders. The first one that I'm going to use is the Laura Mercier. This is the Secret Brightening Powder, and I talked about this in my last video, which coincidentally I will link down below. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the powder into the top, and I may take a little bit more as I kind of go. And I'm using the Real Techniques contouring brush, because this is just a fluffy little round brush, and I love it because it's so precise. You could also get a little setting brush too. And the brightening powder, I'm just going to push in. I'm not like swiping it, I'm just kind of almost blotting with the brush, just right underneath my eye in that same kind of triangle shape. And I put this down the center of my nose, on my chin, so basically anywhere that I applied that concealer earlier, because as I talk about in that last video, this kind of gives you almost like a white cast just in those areas. So I don't know if you guys can really tell on camera, I hope that you can, but it just kind of highlights the center of your face when you use it the right way. I would not apply that all over your face. Now, I'm gonna go in with a little Makeup Forever HD High Def powder. Yes, this is a sample size. I get so many little high def powders or any kind of micro finishing powder all the time as samples. Because the cap is so small, I just put it on the back of my hand. And then I'm going in with my Real Techniques. This is the powder brush, and it's the huge one. And I just kind of pick up the powder, and then I press this in anywhere else. And the only reason why I really set the rest of my face isn't because I want to take away the glow, but it is because I will apply like a blush or a little more bronzer, and I just think that this makes it apply a little bit easier. The other reason why I'm setting today especially is because I did use a tinted moisturizer, and those tend to move a lot if you're wearing them all day, which is what I kind of intend on doing. So setting it just keeps it from feeling all greased face and moving around. And the last part of this little foundation routine is going to be to bronze my face. I'm not including blush because I'm going to do that on my own. I don't really think that's part of the foundation, but I am going to show you guys my bronzer. So this is the Body Shop bronzing powder shade in medium matte. It's the Honey Bronzer. I've talked about this a ton on my channel. I love this bronzer. It's matte and it just adds a little bit of color. So this I'm kind of following where I applied that cream contour bronzer earlier, but I'm just applying it more loosely because it is a bronzing shade and it is summer, so you can kind of be a little more liberal with it, or generous, or free, or whatever you want to call it. So I forgot to bring that down my neck. Okay, so I'm gonna go finish the rest of my makeup and then I will be back to kind of say goodbye. So I hope you guys like that. I am now back with everything except for that lip color still from the beginning of the video. Yeah, so that is how I've been doing my foundation recently, and I've really liked it. I haven't really felt the need to change anything, and I have the need to sneeze right now. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna power through this allergy attack and say, if you guys like this video, again, give it a thumbs up. Let's get it to 40. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below and tell me what you guys thought of the video or what kind of video you want to see it next time. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! And if you guys want to watch my last video, it is right here for your pleasure. Go ahead and click it. Have you clicked it yet? I don't think you've clicked it yet. And if you can't click it because you're on your phone, then it is in the down bar down below.